She mentioned on one trip, a year before that when she came home, she felt things had been moved around. Someone had been in her apartment. This is 20-year-old Lauren Giddings, a promising young lady who had just graduated from law school at Mercer University and was working towards the Georgia bar exam. Like a lot of other students, Lauren stayed in Macon after graduation instead of moving home to Baltimore. She stayed in her apartment, which was directly across Mercer University, so that she could spend the next few weeks studying. She told her friends and family that she would be studying non-stop for a while, so when they didn't hear from her for a few days, they weren't alarmed.
Really, you kind of just go into this hole and study constantly and don't really have any contact with anybody.
On the 30th of June 2011, one of her friends, Ashley Morehouse, couldn't get a hold of Lauren after 4 days and started to worry. Ashley had a key to Lauren's apartment, so she checked up on her with a couple of friends. Everything in the flat looked normal. Nothing was out of place. Her law books were on the table and so were her keys and purse. Even her car was parked outside. The only thing missing was Lauren. They decided to notify the police. When the police arrived at the scene, they used a luminol in the apartment to see if there were any traces of blood. There wasn't. However, it was a completely different case in her bathroom. There was blood everywhere. Police believed that they were now looking for a dead body. We started looking a little close around the outside and discovered the trash bag that was in one of the dumpsters. Once we were able to open the bag and look in, we found her torso. There was no limbs attached, and of course her head was missing as well. So she just had a torso. The investigators were very lucky. One, the dumpster should have been collected that morning, but the truck was running late, leaving Lauren's remains and other DNA evidence to be discovered by the police. The police interviewed all residents of the 16 apartments in that block. On campus, Stephen McDaniel, who lived just beside Lauren, was one of those who joined in the search for his missing friend. What happened next was actually what made this case famous. Stephen McDaniel was giving an interview to the media when they alerted him that a body had been found. His reaction, though, was strikingly suspicious.
I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's why we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Stephen McDaniel was a 25-year-old law graduate described by friends as quirky but intelligent. Investigators learned that friends considered him a bit creepy and often asked others on how to commit the perfect murder. He was initially arrested on unrelated burglary charge involving 2 break-ins at the apartment complex when police had discovered evidence of his involvement in the murder while searching through his apartment. During interrogations, he came out as incredibly odd. If you look at the footage, Stephen could be seen staring dead-eye at the investigator, and he sat eerily still for the whole 2 hours. He had in his possession both a master key and a key to her apartment, and he had a flash drive that belonged to her that contained hundreds of her personal photos. His computer history showed an interest in her Facebook and LinkedIn pages. Sometimes he would be searching for images of her around the same time that he was looking at violent pornography. Of course, we found her underwear in his apartment. While all of this was happening, Lauren had no idea what was going on. Stephen had free access to her apartment for some time and had been stalking her every move. Police continued to search the complex, and in the laundry room they found a blood-stained hacksaw along with a sheet with blood on it. Tests revealed that it was Lauren's blood. The linchpin in all this was when we found deleted video he had used to survey her home. The night it appears that she was murdered, and that was found in a camera in his possession, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. He had took a wooden pole and had duct tape or somehow fixed that camera to the end of the pole and then held the pole up really high to peek inside her window. Lauren was actually very friendly with Stephen, and he had even met her parents, but she knew there was something strange happening in her apartment. What she didn't know was that Stephen was involved. Almost a year ago was when she felt like someone had been in the apartment, watching her, but she was so busy in law school that she didn't have a lot of time to dwell on it. She also received a call from a friend who spotted someone spying on her. The person saw someone with a large stick and a camera on top of the stick pointing towards Lauren's apartment. The last email she sent to anyone was to her boyfriend Vincent Smith. She told him that she believed someone had tried to break into her apartment and that she was frightened and didn't want to stay there. Her gut feeling was correct. There was someone watching her every move. and that was Stephen McDaniel. Stephen pleaded guilty to murder. As part of a plea deal, if he told the court what he did to Lauren, the sexual exploitation of children and burglary charges against him would be dropped. He agreed to tell the court what exactly happened that night. At 4:30 a.m., Stephen entered Lauren's apartment using the key he had. He was dressed in all black and wore a mask and gloves. When Stephen entered the apartment, Lauren was sound asleep in bed. He spent a bit of time watching her sleeping. When he moved towards the bed, the floor creaked. Lauren woke up and told him to get out. He jumped on the bed and choked her. Lauren fought for her life, and after she pulled the mask off his face, she pleaded for him to stop. "Stephen, please stop." They fell off the bed and her legs got caught under the bed, so she couldn't kick him or defend herself much. Stephen did not let go of her throat and continued strangling her until she stopped moving. He then dragged her body into a bathroom, left it, and went back to his apartment. He spent the entire day in his apartment on the internet. Later that night, he returned with a hacksaw. He decapitated Lauren and dismembered her body. He told his lawyer that he sat down and cut off every finger and bone and appendage on her hands and threw them all in the toilet and flushed it at one time. Stephen then put her body parts in multiple black trash bags. He told the court he put her limbs and body parts in different dumpsters, but it was too late for the police to locate them. They only found her torso. If the police had arrived a few minutes later than they did, they would not have found the torso as the garbage collection was just about to take place. Stephen McDaniel was sentenced to life in prison.